Hey guys, welcome to Target Series 7, and I'm reviewing this, which is the Marvel Legends series Spider-Man Retro Wave Vintage Target exclusive Cyborg Spider-Man. So really cool, really blessed to pick this up today, and it's really cool. It's in that awesome retro packaging. We have Spider-Man on top there with the old logo, and we have Cyborg Spider-Man written there. I keep wanting to say Cyborg Superman. I keep wanting to say that. I guarantee you, throughout this video, I'm going to call him Cyborg Superman at some point. It's just the Cyborg, the S, and then the man. That's totally going to happen. But yeah, we got a nice review of him in packaging. We got the 4 and up, and obviously this is based on the 90s where they actually did make an action figure like this. I don't know if this was ever actually a part of the official comics or they just made it to be one of those kind of one-off action figures. I think it was in the comics. I don't think it was ever part of the animated show that aired with this, but either way, it's really cool, and we have this cool artwork here, and this design for Spider-Man was also used in the PS4 video game, so that was pretty cool. And it's great that we're getting to expand the roster on some of those action figures. There is a bio of him on here, and then you have this kind of image there. So yeah, let's open this up. So here we have Cyborg Spider-Man out of packaging, and as you can see, he looks pretty cool. And for starters going on, he has this really cool red and blue classic Spider-Man scheme. He's got the black web lining, which looks pretty nice. You get this webbing here and here. You also get this alternative fisted hand. And I thought it would be cool if maybe we got like a web swinging hand for his metal arm, but maybe there's some particular reason why they didn't do that, like actually to the story or whatever story this is supposed to be from. But either way, that is interesting. And then again, you have the giant spider symbol there, which I actually really like that. It's pretty cool. And I like how the black webbing is painted. You have this yellow belt here. I don't know if this belt piece has ever been used before. I don't recognize it, but to be honest, I don't really pay attention to characters' belts that much. But it's yellow. It's got some nice designs. Then down here you have a bandage wrap. Now, I've really only had this for a couple minutes, but so far I haven't noticed it being like Cyborg, or not Cyborg, my bad, Cyclops, where the things go down. I've heard complaints about it, but so far on mine, this has stayed intact pretty well, so that's pretty good, but you never know with those. And then up here on the top, at the head I believe is totally new, but I could be wrong about that. But you got this giant spider mask eye over here, and this white bandana. It's kind of like Ninja Turtle style where it stays up there. And then on this side, you have what once was that mask eye, which is now replaced with this big red Deadshot looking thing, and it's pretty cool. It's got the red and the silver, and it's got this brown band that actually goes across his mask, and you can kind of see it better moving around, holding it in place there. You can see where it lines up and how the bandana goes for it. And something I really like, I don't know if you can see this right away, but he actually has a scar, or like stitching, not really a scar, but stitching cutting across his mask. And it goes down a little bit into the front of the mask, but it's mainly noticeable here. And this is really the only parts where you see it, but I think it's pretty cool. I also really love his spider emblem on the back here. I just think that's really neat. And oh, there it goes. It does fall down. But, I mean, it's not too big of an issue, but it is something you have to watch out for these. I know it really bothers some people. Like, for me, it doesn't bother me that much, but just be careful with that. And then here we have his arguably coolest feature, his silver Bucky looking arm, and he's got this kind of like shoulder pad here. Although ironically, I actually think this character at the time of his debut, I think he would have had an arm before Bucky, because I don't think Bucky came back to like the 2000s. I might be wrong about that, so don't quote me. I could be wrong about that, but I actually think this might predecede, or I don't know. I think it might have came before Bucky's arm. I might be wrong about that. But you have this kind of like silver shoulder pad. You got these grenade looking type things on his shoulder here. And then you have these kind of like mechanical kind of like tentacles there. I don't know, it looks really cool the way it's webbed together almost. And then you have this giant fist, which just looks massive and really cool. And there's no real way to hold it, but you do get a web accessory. The idea is you can kind of like slide it around Spider-Man's arms, but it's just a little weird because he can't really grasp onto it. But we've seen this one before, and you can kind of like slide it onto there. And either way, it's pretty cool, and I do like getting the web line, so I think that's pretty neat. And in terms of articulation, we got a 360 here at the head. We can look up and down. This arm has 360 rotation, swings off the shoulder. It's a little bit hindered due to this, but it does also also have a butterfly joint. This one you're going to get more movement out of just because the shoulder thing. You have a 360 here and double jointed elbows on both of them, and 360s at the wrist and hinges. You got a 360 at the torso and an ab crunch that can go pretty far back, pretty far forward. The legs forwards, backwards, outwards. You got a 360 at the thigh, double jointed knees, 360 at the boot. Again, you can see it's falling down, and then you got the feet which move up and down and go side to side. So in terms of articulation, pretty much what we've come to expect, but I don't really think that's a bad thing. I think Marvel Legends has a pretty high standard for articulation, if not the highest standard for 6-inch action figures. Now, here's a comparison really quickly with the main Spider-Man from this retro wave, the classic-y kind of Spider-Man. At first, it kind of looked like they had used this body for the Cyborg Spider-Man, but it looks like now that I've looked at it, it's more of an older one, which is a little sad, but at the same time, I don't really mind it. And obviously, like, their designs in general are a little bit different, but it's still pretty cool, and I do like seeing them together. And I'm glad to see that they made these. It's just kind of cool to have them two there. And then here we have a comparison with the PS4 Advanced Suit Spider-Man that just literally died and killed them both. Let's pick them back up real quickly, and he's gonna fall again. I can feel it. But no, yeah, but they do look good together. And again, like I was saying at the start of this video, you can play this suit in PS4 Spider-Man, so that's pretty cool. And then here's a comparison with another kind of like one-off Spider-Man appearance, 6-armed Spider-Man. And then here's a comparison with, comparison? Did I just say compare? What is a comparison? Here is a comparison between Venom movie with Cyborg Spider-Man. I don't know why. I know there's words, but sometimes like I forget to use the actual words. But yeah, Cyborg Spider-Man with Venom. I mean, you can just see. I mean, I just love comparing this Venom action figure with all the other action figures because he's so massive. I love those comparisons. And lastly, we got a comparison with the Spider Armor, which is also from the PS4 Spider-Man game. So, my final thoughts on Cyborg Spider-Man are, I think it's a pretty unique action figure. And, you know, I've talked about this in a lot of more of my recent videos and my comparison videos. As I've gotten older, I kind of like action figures like this a little bit more than ones like this. Because even though this is classic Spidey, and I absolutely love it, you know, I have a lot of the classic Spidey. So a certain one like Cyborg Spider-Man is, you know, kind of interesting to me because he's unique. He's one they haven't done before. He's one that probably won't get made again, and I gotta say I like him. You know, obviously this was an action figure before in the 90s, so if you grew up with this action figure, you're totally gonna love that they made it in 6-inch. You know, it made me think of that Star Wars commercial a couple of years ago where the kid gets a Return of the Jedi action figure, and then years later he's buying like a little Millennium Falcon playset, and they're building it for their daughter in Lego. I think that came out for The Force Awakens a couple of years ago. I just remember seeing that trailer when I was shopping, or you know, like on the stores with the TVs, how they have like advertisements for their stores. I remember seeing that trailer a lot, and I just thought, you know, that was a cool kind of like idea. So, you know, the fact that you could have like bought this Spider-Man when you were a kid, and now they've remade it, like, to me that's just so cool, and in the exact same packaging too, almost. Obviously, this is mostly like more for nostalgia, but at the same time, it's just a really cool and unique version of Spider-Man. I don't think it's going to be a Spider-Man that everybody's going to want or that everybody's going to like, but I think it's unique, and I think it looks great, especially when you have him compared to the other Spider-Men. Definitely exciting, and just, you know, especially one for the Spider-Verse too. I really like this, and thank you for watching. Please rate, like, and subscribe.